All right, so traders, welcome back to my screen. So first here we have the BTC. So let's just scale up to the weekly time frame and see how things look. So in the past couple of weeks, we've been short BTC, Ethereum, and then gold in a Telegram community, and also with the mentorship traders like so. By the way, if you're not in the Telegram community, you can actually check out the link in the pin comment. Like, so it brings you straight there. So BTC, one of the reasons as to why I actually went short on BTC was because I saw a very significant break of trend line on the weekly time frame. You guys know me. Anything higher time frame, I don't joke with my higher time frames there. So I saw this trend line break here. This ascending trend line was broken out of the way. So as soon as I saw this, so as soon as I saw this, I knew for a short that even if we don't go to $33,000 a coin, I knew for a short here somewhere along the line that we're actually going to collapse. So what I simply did was scale down to the daily time frame, and then I actually started to count my waves. Okay, so we had the high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So as soon as I saw this lower high formation here, I quickly brought up my Fib tool. Then I drew my Fibonacci from swing high to swing low, and then I saw that this was around a decent supply level. So what I simply did was allow the market give me a decent pullback into that region like so, and that's where I actually went short. So our first entry was here, and then second entry was again another Fib play like so, from swing high to swing low, and then entries were at $85,000 a coin. So we went short on BTC all the way through to $60,000 a coin. So at the moment, I'm not really short this guy anymore. I'm actually out of all my trades. So what I'm actually waiting for is what you would actually assume I'm waiting for: a break of this $64,000 60k region. Once I see a clear break here, I'll be here then to let you guys know exactly how to take advantage of this trend and short this guy all the way to $35,000 a coin is our next level target for BTC. And once that's cleared, we have targets at $17,000 per coin for BTC. So let's quickly see other pairs that actually went short on. Let's talk about gold. So gold on that wise also gave us a significant opportunity to go short, which I actually called out gold. I'm so sorry, it is a bit lousy. I'm still in class. I just had to make out time to do this. So I actually went short on gold. I went short on gold for I think since last month. Now the reason being that I saw a very significant stretch here on gold. So for a really long time we were making series of higher highs and higher low, never really testing any significant base that was created here. And if you see closely, this is exactly what happened. So for every new high there was no corresponding low. Okay, so this was more like a linear trend. Okay, so once I saw this weekly engulfing candle break and close below here, I knew for a short. Now, how you know is that, first of all, anytime the market fails to continue going higher and instead comes and gives you a, hold on, let me just bring this guy lower. So anytime you see something like this happen where the market gives you a high and then fails to continue high, instead comes in and then breaks structure here. This was a structure, mind you. This was a structure, and then he broke structure, then came in to give you a lower high from the previous line. Best believe that this guy is gonna rotate lower at least. So that was what happened here. Once I saw that for some strange reasons we failed to continue higher, instead we came on here, then put in a lower high from here. I knew that there was bound to be an issue going higher from here. So what I simply did was capitalize on that. Once I saw this was a 4-hour candle entry for me. So entry was on 4-hour time frame. You guys, I do everything entry on 4-hour time frame. So entry was on a 4-hour time frame, and this was how it looked. So entries were here, stops were above structure, and they were actually shorted this guy all the way down, and we are finally hit take profit at 4,327 per ounce for dollar. But that's not all. I'm still watching this guy closely. Once I see that we have broken below this 4,327 like so, then we got space all the way to $4,000 an ounce for gold. All right, so I believe that's just about that. Then to the currency pairs, the pound sterling, nothing has changed from the last time. We are still pretty much heavily in range. There is no clear direction now, so I'm not really calling anything on the pound, on the euro, quite, and then also the AED USD also has a similar place. So I will be interested in AED USD once I see that we've broken below this blue bar and then this trend line. Otherwise, I have no business with these pairs at the moment. Nasdaq in itself has to come back to at least 26,800 basis points for us to actually have a trade, because once you break a level, technically speaking, you ought to come back and test that level, but so far so good. It is still far from, you know, our POI, so I'm not really enticed by all this crap. Otherwise, I would have had another entry somewhere around here, like so, at this level, like so. But I'm not really a big fan of this kinds of trades, so I like to trade at major levels. Yeah, it's either major levels or minor levels. I cannot trade in no man's land. All right, so that's just that about that. USD CAD bullish. The dollar in itself is still bullish. Okay, so I told you guys that anything that makes us break above 100, you know, for dollar, we are actually free, you know, to continue higher. But for now, nothing has happened. We are still pretty much in the range. That's why you see the euro dollar and the pound sterling still playing around. So once you see a clear break of this range, and then this guy breaks through to the upside, then we are in business, and you're guaranteed that this guy's going to continue even higher on the pound sterling. And S&P 500 is starting to give us that kind of pullback, but remember guys, the goal is to actually come and give us a higher low from here. Okay, after every new, let me just put this guy close here, I'm coming. So after every new high must be a corresponding new low. So we put in a low here. This is a high. We have to come and put a higher low from here. So at 6,000, roughly 7,000 basis points, we are actually expecting S&P to pull back into. Then we are in business. First entry was there, still holding this guy, and then we need to see the S&P drop all the way to 7,000 basis points, and then we are in business to blow this guy through 7,800 basis points, like so. USD CHF on the other hand, nothing is really happening. So we need to see USD CHF continue higher. Once you see that once you see USD CHF continue higher, then give us a pullback, then we are in business. I believe that's just that for this pairs. Again, recap for gold, we need to see a clear break of $4,327 an ounce. Once we clear that breach, we're actually free to fall towards $4,000 dollars an ounce for gold. Sorry, I trade S&P, so you keep hearing me say basis points. So for gold, once again for gold, once you clear the bridge of 4,327, we are free to fall to $4,000 an ounce. And then for BTC, I need to see a clear break of 60,000. It already looks like it's gonna break, so all we need to do is just exercise some bit of patience, allow BTC collapse freely through this level, and then we are in business. Okay, we'll shut this guy all the way to, for me personally, I said it in the Telegram group, I see BTC at long term 14,000 dollars a coin. But when that time comes, I'll let you guys know how to actually adjust yourselves. But for now, BTC going on, we need to see a clear break of 60,799. Once this is broken, we got free ride all the way to $36,000 a coin for BTC, and that's just